if I move back to Australia, and I intend on doing this in my life, I don't intend on retiring and living in America. And I love America. I'm very proud to be an American citizen. America's done a lot for me. My wife's British, but if one day I'll live in Australia again. When I was an old man, I'll live in Australia, and I'm going to live in Perth. I love Perth.
By the way, they tell me you'll really hit the ball out of the park with your missus.
Oh, she's all right. My wife's
You've killed
good
it. You've
looking.
killed
Yeah,
it.
I do all right. I do all right. No,
I don't know. I don't know. I just thought, but my team here just been saying, my God, his missus.
I mean, your wife's a good looking woman. Yeah, but she's too good looking for me.
I was going to say, like, what's the deal? How'd you meet her?
I got more money than her. That's
Helpful. No, how'd you meet her?
I met my wife on an app, dating app. There's a dating app called Raya, which is for the famous, rich, and the good looking. You know,
Really?
and my wife is an actress, and at that stage she was in a TV drama called The Resident, which is one of those medical procedural, shows. And I was doing the Jim Jeffries show at that stage, and I was on the app, and we paired up, and it's just so happened she lived 300 meters from my house.
No.
Yeah, and she's just a couple of streets up around the corner, right?
In London or something?
In LA.
In LA.
In LA. And so she was living up the road. I was at that stage a single dad, and my ex was living down the road, and I had my son 1 week on, 1 week off. And so on those weeks off, I was dating, trying to get me, fine. Yeah, all they are job interviews, aren't they? That's every day. It's a job interview. You're trying to employ someone. We'll give you a 3-month, trial period. See how it goes.
No obligations.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And so I started dating my wife, and I think she wouldn't have given me a second or third date if I didn't live so close. She was just like...
Convenience.
There's a shag around the corner. You know what I mean? She was like...
Was she practical? That's good.
Yeah, I can shag this bloke until I find someone better. And I won her over because... my wife's British, and there's footage of me on the Bill Maher show. I got a bit heated in a discussion on the Bill Maher show, and I told Piers Morgan to go fuck himself, and I gave him the finger, and they had to cut to an ad break. And
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got all fired up, and I thought,
What was the top? What were you arguing over?
look, this was back when Trump had just gone in, and do you remember the Muslim ban?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, and
You had a whole routine about that.
It wasn't. They say, it wasn't a Muslim ban. It wasn't a Muslim ban. It was just people from Arab countries, but they weren't being allowed in even with their green card. It was like at that stage, it was like a thing. And so Piers Morgan, this is what really happened. That wasn't what I was fired up about. I just didn't like Piers Morgan. Right now, Piers Morgan and me got into an argument. For the life of me, I can't remember what it is. I haven't been on Twitter for over 7 years.
But you got the argument was on Twitter, though.
Yeah, so on Twitter, way before that, Piers Morgan and me got into a little verbal like a little written altercation.
Yeah.
Then cut to, and I didn't think anything of it. I was just happy, get a bit of press from each other, And then I was booked to do the Bill Maher show. And he sends me a direct message, and all he writes to me is he goes, "I'll be sitting 6 feet away from you. You better bring your A game." And I was like, fuck that cunt. Right?
It's on.
I was like, it's on. If he fucking starts, and my little bit of autism kicked off, I was like, oh, I've got to talk to him fucking if he comes at me. And so I'm sitting there, and he brings up that, and I said, you're full of fucking shit, mate. I said, you're just happy that you're friends with the president, mate. That's all you're happy about, because you're on a little fucking game show, and you can suck up to that bloke. You're a fucking dickhead. I went him a bit like that. And he goes, oh, please, you're losing your audience. And I turned to the crowd. Now, this could have been a career-ending moment, right? I turned to the crowd and went, have I lost you? If they were silent, I'm done for.
Yeah, cooked.
Cool. Yeah. I go, have I lost you? And they went, rah. And I went, what are you, fuck off? Like I went for it like that. And then they had to cut to an ad break, right? And my social media, the whole world for me was going crazy in that moment. The whole internet started talking about. Anyway, so I said to my wife, she goes, I like the Bill Maher show. That was her favourite comedian, Bill Maher. And I said, I told Piers Morgan to fuck off on the Bill Maher show. And then in that moment, she went, she watched
You're
it.
hired.
She didn't know it was me, but then she goes, you're the bloke. And I went to the bathroom, And I came back and she was on her phone and she was talking to her mum because my wife's quite posh English, and so she still calls her parents mummy and daddy, as they do, and that type of thing. And she goes, Mummy, remember the man who told Piers Morgan to fuck off? I'm at dinner with him right now. And I'm like, so me and Piers have no problem anymore because I wouldn't have met my wife wouldn't have married me unless I told him to fuck off. So
Did you reconnect with him?
Well, I tell you what, the other day, I got no problem with Piers Morgan. So after the Piers Morgan thing, people got online and spread it and all that type of stuff. And he tried to sort of say, pull up some old jokes where I said offensive things and try to make the audience turn on me a bit. And J.K. Rowling's, like she said, watching Piers Morgan get told to fuck off on TV was as satisfying as I hoped it would be, right? And Piers Morgan, he must have had a real fucking bug up his ass about the whole thing because he goes, I'm hardly going to be told off by a woman who writes books about wizards. You're like, mate, the Bible has sold more.
Yeah.
Literally, only the Bible has sold more. Like you can make anything,
and that's been around for 2,000 years selling. So yeah, but she's only been around a short period.
You can make anything seem small by breaking it down to wizards. You know what I mean? And so Piers Morgan's son has, I believe, a Hogwarts tattoo on his forearm. And so he posts a picture of the tattoo and goes, this has become awkward, right? So from that moment on, I was sort of enjoying it a little bit. I was like, okay, so Piers, it all dies down. I got no problem with Piers Morgan, and I don't think he does either. I think he attracts that type of attention. That's what he wants. Maybe that little moment backfired for him, but for the most part, when he's talking about Meghan Markle or something like that, he wants to be talked about. That's his thing, that's his game, And so he was doing the interview with the lady from Baby Reindeer, the real person who was a stalker. And I love Baby Reindeer. And then I had to tune into Pierce's show to watch that thing. And so I put out a little post on my social media. I said, Piers Morgan did a very good job here. And I put a picture and a link to the thing, and he reposted it. So I don't know if we're cool, but I think we're on the right track. So me and Piers are probably good.
That's a fucking great story.
If I met Piers Morgan, as I said, I'd give the man a hug, mate. My son wouldn't have been born without him. You know what I mean? So fucking thanks, Piers.